Good evening, God knows that you are tired. He sees every burden you've carried, every moment you've wanted to quit, and every tear shed in silence. You've been holding on longer than you thought you could, but God is aware. He understands the weight you've been carrying, and He's with you in it. This season may feel overwhelming, but nothing in your life is wasted. Every challenge, every test, every disappointment is part of a greater plan. God doesn't allow anything without purpose. What feels like a delay or struggle is often preparation for the next stage. You are being shaped for something greater than what you see now. God knows exactly how much you can handle, even when you feel stretched to the limit. He has measured your capacity and has placed within you the strength to overcome. When you feel weak, that is when His power works best. Trust that He will not leave you to carry it alone. Rest is not just the absence of work, but the presence of God's peace. In His presence, there is renewal and restoration. He invites you to lay down the burdens of your heart and let His peace refresh you. The rest He gives is not temporary. It strengthens your soul to keep moving forward. You may wonder why things aren't changing as quickly as you hoped, but God's timing is always perfect. His delays are not denials. He works beyond what we can see, aligning everything for your good. There is a purpose in the waiting, and the answers will come exactly when they are needed. Faith is trusting even when life doesn't make sense. You might not understand everything now, but you don't need to. God knows what He is doing. What feels like a setback today could be the foundation for a breakthrough tomorrow. He is working behind the scenes, even when you can't see it. God will not leave you stranded. At the right time, He will send the help you need. Whether through people, opportunities, or unexpected moments, His provision will find you. Be ready to receive His help, even when it doesn't come the way you expect it. You are closer to victory than you realize. The weariness you feel is not a sign of defeat, but a sign that the journey is almost over. Hold on, because God has promised that those who endure will reap a harvest. You've come too far to quit now. Keep pressing forward. Your breakthrough is on the way. God sees your struggles. In moments of heartache, loneliness, and despair, when you feel isolated and misunderstood, remember that you are never truly alone. God's gaze is upon you, and He knows the depth of your pain and the intricacies of your situation. Every sleepless night, every anxious thought, and every sigh of weariness does not escape His attention. He is not a distant observer. He is a loving Father, intimately aware of what you are going through. Consider the countless times in Scripture when individuals faced immense trials. From Job's devastating losses to David's heart-wrenching cries in the Psalms, these stories remind us that struggle is part of the human experience. Yet through it all, God remained present. He saw their pain and responded with compassion. In the same way He sees your struggles and responds with love, His heart aches for you in your moments of difficulty, and His desire is to draw you closer to Him. Sometimes in our struggles, we feel forgotten or overlooked. We may question why our prayers seem unanswered or why God allows certain hardships to persist. But understand that His silence does not equate to absence. Even in the waiting, God is actively working behind the scenes, orchestrating events for your good. His timing may not align with our expectations, but it is always perfect. He knows what is best for you and when it is best to reveal it. Your struggles are not signs of weakness. They are moments of growth. Each challenge you face has the potential to refine your character and deepen your faith. God uses these experiences to build resilience and to prepare you for future victories. When you encounter obstacles, it is an opportunity to discover strength you didn't know you possessed. In those moments, lean into Him. God is ready to empower you, and in your weakness, His strength becomes most evident. Moreover, God sees your struggles not only as individual events, but as part of a larger tapestry of your life. Every trial, every heartache is woven into a story that only He can tell. You may not see the complete picture now, but He is the master weaver, skillfully working every thread for His glory and your ultimate benefit. Trust that He is creating something beautiful, even when the individual pieces seem chaotic and painful. In your struggles, God also offers His presence as a source of comfort. He invites you to come to Him with your burdens, to lay them at His feet. When you pour out your heart to Him, you are not just releasing your pain, you are also opening yourself to His healing. His love and grace will envelop you, bringing peace that surpasses all understanding. Remember that your struggles do not define you. They are merely chapters in your journey. Each chapter contributes to the growth of your faith and character. God sees you and He is writing a story of hope and redemption. Embrace the truth that your struggles are temporary, but the lessons learned and the strength gained will last a lifetime. You are being prepared for greater things, and God's vision for your life far exceeds your own. Trust in His process, for He sees your struggles and knows your potential. Your pain has a purpose. In a world that often seeks to avoid discomfort and suffering, we must understand that pain is not just an unfortunate part of life, it is a powerful teacher and a catalyst for growth. Every heartache, every setback, and every challenge you face is infused with meaning, even when it feels unbearable. God does not waste your pain. Instead, He uses it to shape you into the person He has destined you to be. When we encounter trials, it's easy to feel as though we are being punished or abandoned. However, this perspective misses a crucial truth. God is not indifferent to your suffering. He is actively working through it. The struggles you endure are designed to build your character, deepen your faith, and prepare you for the greater plans He has in store. Think of it as a refining process. Just as gold is purified through fire, your spirit is being refined through the heat of adversity. Each trial strips away the impurities, revealing the strength and resilience that lie within you. Consider the stories of those who have faced significant hardships throughout history and Scripture. Each one encountered pain, yet their struggles propelled them toward extraordinary destinies. Think of Joseph, sold into slavery by his own brothers, who later rose to become a powerful leader in Egypt. His years of suffering were not in vain. They were integral to fulfilling God's purpose for his life and the lives of countless others during the time of famine. Similarly, the Apostle Paul endured great suffering, yet he emerged with a profound understanding of grace, which allowed him to spread the gospel to the ends of the earth. In each case, pain served as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. Pain is also a powerful motivator for change. It compels you to reflect on your life, your choices, and your direction. When you are in a season of discomfort, it forces you to evaluate what truly matters. This introspection can lead to powerful revelations and transformations. The pain you experience may serve as a wake-up call, urging you to pursue your true purpose and abandon distractions that no longer serve you. Through this process, you begin to align more closely with God's vision for your life, discovering passions and gifts that might have remained dormant otherwise. Moreover, your pain connects you to others. It fosters empathy and compassion, allowing you to relate to those who are suffering in similar ways. This shared experience can become a source of strength and healing, both for you and for those around you. When you emerge from your own darkness, you become a beacon of hope for others. Your testimony of endurance and faith can inspire those who find themselves in the throes of their struggles. You can show them that pain is not the end, it is a passage to a greater purpose. It's essential to remember that God's purpose for your pain is not just about you. It extends to the world around you. Your journey, with all its ups and downs, is intricately woven into the lives of others. God may be using your experiences to impact someone else's life in ways you cannot yet comprehend. When you allow your pain to transform you, you create a ripple effect that can lead to healing, restoration, and hope for others. As you navigate through your pain, cling to the truth that every tear you shed is counted by God, and every struggle you face is known to Him. He is not a distant deity. He walks alongside you, holding you in your darkest moments. His promise is that He will never leave you nor forsake you. In the midst of your suffering, trust that He is crafting something beautiful from your pain. Ultimately, the purpose of your pain is to lead you to a deeper relationship with God. In your most challenging moments, you are invited to lean into Him, to seek His presence, and to rely on His strength. Through your struggles, you will discover a God who is intimately aware of your needs and who offers peace and comfort that transcends understanding. Embrace your pain as a pathway to purpose, for it will shape you into a vessel of His love and grace, ready to fulfill your unique destiny. God won't give you more than you can bear. In times of overwhelming stress, uncertainty, and heartache, it's easy to feel like the weight of the world is pressing down upon you. You may find yourself questioning how much longer you can endure the trials that life presents. Yet, amidst the storm, it is crucial to remember that God, in His infinite wisdom, has a profound understanding of your capacity to withstand hardship. He knows your limits better than you do, and He carefully measures each challenge that comes your way. Every trial serves a purpose, and every burden you carry is not arbitrary. God has designed you with strength and resilience intricately woven into the very fabric of your being. The challenges you face are opportunities for growth, not signs of your inadequacy. Each trial is like a weight that trains your spirit, preparing you for the greater purposes He has ordained for your life. Just as athletes push their bodies to build strength, God allows you to experience discomfort to strengthen your faith and character. It's essential to grasp the truth that your struggles are not punishments, but rather part of your divine training. When you find yourself in situations that feel beyond your control, remember that God sees the bigger picture. He has equipped you with the tools and resources necessary to face these challenges. It's not that you are alone in your struggles, rather, you are in partnership with a God who empowers you. The Holy Spirit dwells within you, offering strength when you feel weak, guidance when you are lost, and peace amid turmoil. You may encounter moments when you question your ability to continue. The burden may feel heavy, and the road ahead may appear daunting. But during these times, it is crucial to turn your focus to God's promises. He assures us that He is with us in every situation. Isaiah 41:10 reminds us, "Fear not, for I am with you, be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." These words are not mere platitudes, they are declarations of God's unwavering commitment to support you through every trial. Moreover, consider the times when you felt you had reached your limit but found a strength you didn't know you had. This is a testament to God's provision. When you surrender your burdens to Him, you open the door for His power to flow through you. It's in these moments of vulnerability that you can truly experience the fullness of His grace. Your struggles may feel isolating, but they are also an invitation to draw closer to God. In your weakness, He reveals His strength, and you learn to rely on Him in ways you never thought possible. It's also vital to recognize that God's perspective is not limited to your current situation. He sees the whole journey, the trials you have already overcome, and the victories that lie ahead. What feels insurmountable today may serve as a stepping stone to a brighter tomorrow. Each challenge shapes you, strengthens you, and equips you for the next phase of your journey. You are being prepared for a future that is filled with promise and purpose, and your current struggles are part of that divine process. While it may be hard to understand in the midst of pain, God's timing is perfect. He knows when to allow challenges to arise and when to provide relief. Trusting in His timing is an act of faith, recognizing that He is working all things for your good. You may not see the results immediately, but rest assured that every moment of your struggle is known to Him. He is faithful to complete the work He has begun in you. As you navigate the hardships, remember to take heart in the knowledge that you are never beyond His reach. He has promised not to give you more than you can bear, and He will not abandon you in your time of need. His grace is sufficient for you, and His power is made perfect in your weakness. When the load feels heavy, lift your eyes to Him. In doing so, you will find not only the strength to carry on, but also a deeper understanding of His love and faithfulness. In the end, your journey through struggles will lead to a testimony of triumph. Each experience, every moment of doubt, and every ounce of perseverance will culminate in a narrative of hope and restoration. You are being prepared not just for your own victories, but for the opportunity to inspire and uplift others who face their battles. God won't give you more than you can bear, and through every trial, He is with you, shaping you into a vessel of His grace, ready to shine His light into a world that desperately needs it. Rest in His presence. In the hustle and bustle of life, amid the demands and distractions that vie for our attention, we often forget the profound gift of resting in the presence of God. This rest is not merely a physical reprieve, it is a sacred space where our spirits can find solace and rejuvenation. It is an invitation to step away from the chaos of the world and immerse ourselves in the peace that only God can provide. When we speak of resting in His presence, we acknowledge the importance of stillness. In a world that glorifies busyness and constant activity, we must recognize that true strength comes from moments of quiet reflection and communion with our Creator. It is in the stillness that we can hear His voice, feel His embrace, and gain clarity amidst confusion. Psalm 46:10 tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." This stillness is not a sign of weakness, but rather a profound declaration of faith. By pausing to rest in Him, we affirm that we trust in His sovereignty over our lives. God invites us into His presence to find refuge. Life storms can be fierce, and when they rage around us, we may feel overwhelmed and lost. Yet in His presence, we discover shelter from the tumult. Imagine a child running into the arms of a parent during a thunderstorm. That same instinctual trust is what God desires from us. He is our safe haven, the one who understands our fears and anxieties and holds us close. In His presence, we can lay down our burdens, fears, and worries, allowing Him to carry what we cannot. The act of resting in His presence requires surrender. Often we cling to our struggles and strive to control situations, thinking that by doing so we can bring about change. But God calls us to release our grip on the outcomes and place our trust fully in Him. This surrender is an acknowledgement that His ways are higher than ours and that He knows what is best for us. In letting go, we allow His peace to wash over us, calming the turmoil within and allowing our spirits to be renewed. Resting in God's presence also cultivates intimacy. This time is not just about seeking relief from stress, but about building a deeper relationship with Him. When we prioritize moments of communion, whether through prayer, meditation, or worship, we open our hearts to experience His love and grace in profound ways. It is in these intimate moments that we receive guidance, wisdom, and strength. God desires for us to know Him deeply, and spending time in His presence is the pathway to that knowledge. Furthermore, resting in His presence brings healing. The wounds we carry, whether from past hurts, disappointments, or grief, can weigh heavily on our souls. But when we enter into His presence, we encounter the great physician who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, Psalm 147:3. In His presence, we can confront our pain, allowing His love to penetrate the darkest corners of our hearts. The healing He offers is transformative, freeing us from the shackles of our past and empowering us to move forward with hope. In addition, resting in God's presence offers perspective. When we are entrenched in our struggles, it can be easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We become consumed by our immediate circumstances, often allowing fear and doubt to cloud our judgment. Yet, when we take time to rest in Him, we gain a clearer understanding of our situation. In His presence, our worries shrink in comparison to His greatness. We are reminded of His faithfulness, His promises, and His unwavering love. This shift in perspective allows us to face our challenges with renewed strength and courage. Finally, resting in His presence equips us for the journey ahead. It is not just about finding peace in the moment, it is about being fortified for the days to come. When we take the time to rest in God, we are filled with His Spirit, empowering us to navigate the challenges of life with grace and resilience. It prepares us to fulfill our purpose, to step into the calling He has placed on our lives, and to shine His light in a world that often feels dark. In conclusion, resting in His presence is an essential aspect of our spiritual journey. It is a sanctuary where we find refuge, healing, and strength. It is a place where intimacy with God flourishes and where our burdens are lifted. As we cultivate the discipline of rest, we embrace the truth that we are never alone, for He is always with us, ready to meet us in our need. So let us make it a priority to rest in His presence, knowing that in doing so, we are replenished, renewed, and transformed, equipped to walk the path He has set before us with confidence and grace. God's timing is perfect. In a world that often demands immediate results, we can become impatient and restless when our desires and needs seem delayed. Yet it is crucial to understand that God operates on a divine timetable that is beyond our comprehension. His timing is not bound by the constraints of our calendars or schedules. It is governed by His infinite wisdom and love. Trusting in His perfect timing can transform our perspective and deepen our faith, even in the face of uncertainty. We must recognize that God sees the complete picture of our lives. While we focus on our current circumstances, God sees the beginning, the middle, and the end. He understands the intricacies of our journey, including the lessons we need to learn and the character we need to develop. Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, for everything, there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. Each season in our lives serves a purpose, and understanding that each moment has its appointed time can bring peace amid chaos. Consider the story of Abraham, who received a promise from God that he would be the father of many nations. However, years passed, and the promise seemed impossible as he and Sarah faced barrenness. During this waiting period, Abraham and Sarah took matters into their own hands, leading to complications and struggles. Yet, in God's perfect timing, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, fulfilling the promise made long ago. This narrative illustrates that even when circumstances appear bleak, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events for our good. Similarly, the life of Joseph exemplifies the beauty of God's timing. After being betrayed by his brothers and sold into slavery, Joseph endured years of hardship and imprisonment. It would have been easy for him to lose hope, but he remained faithful. At the appointed time, God elevated Joseph to a position of power in Egypt, enabling him to save his family from famine. Joseph's story teaches us that even in the midst of suffering, God's timing is at work, and he is preparing us for a greater purpose. God's timing is not just about waiting, it is about preparation. Often, the delay we experience is an opportunity for growth and development. Just as a seed must first be buried in the ground before it can blossom into a beautiful flower, we too must endure seasons of hiddenness and preparation before our potential is realized. God is nurturing our gifts, honing our skills, and preparing our hearts to receive the blessings he has in store. It is in these waiting periods that our faith is strengthened and our reliance on him deepens. It is essential to recognize that God's timing often aligns with his divine purpose. When we try to rush the process or force outcomes according to our timelines, we risk stepping outside of his perfect will. This can lead to missed opportunities and unnecessary struggles. God's purpose is always good, and he knows the best path for us to fulfill that purpose. By trusting his timing, we position ourselves to receive the blessings and opportunities he has prepared for us, often in ways we least expect. Moreover, we must remember that God's timing is not only about our individual journeys, but also about the interconnectedness of his creation. Your timing is intertwined with the lives of others. What you may perceive as a delay in your life could very well be the necessary timing for someone else's breakthrough. God is orchestrating events and relationships in ways that we may not understand, but his plan is always perfect. This perspective encourages us to trust in his timing, knowing that he is working for the greater good of all involved. When we surrender our desire for control and learn to trust in God's timing, we cultivate a spirit of patience and peace. Patience is not merely waiting, it is a proactive engagement with the present moment, filled with hope and expectation. In times of waiting, we can find comfort in prayer and worship, drawing closer to God and seeking his guidance. The process of resting in his presence allows us to cultivate a heart that is attuned to his voice and receptive to his leading. In moments of doubt, we can look back at the times when God's timing was evident in our lives. Remember the prayers that were answered in ways we never expected, the opportunities that came at just the right moment, and the relationships that were formed through divine orchestration? These reflections serve as reminders that God is always at work, even when we cannot see it. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us hold fast to the truth that God's timing is perfect, trust in his plans, lean into his promises, and embrace the process of waiting. Each moment of anticipation is an opportunity for growth, transformation, and deepened faith. In his perfect timing, God will bring about the fulfillment of his promises, and we will stand in awe of his goodness and grace. So let us surrender our timelines to him, knowing that he is faithful, and his timing will always be worth the wait. Trust the process, even when it's hard. In a world that often emphasizes instant gratification and quick results, the journey of faith frequently requires us to navigate seasons of difficulty, uncertainty, and even doubt. It can be challenging to maintain our trust when we face obstacles that seem insurmountable. Yet, it is precisely during these times of hardship that trusting the process becomes not just essential, but transformative. Understanding that the process itself is a vital part of our growth is crucial. Just as a seed must first be buried in the ground before it can break through the surface and flourish into a beautiful plant, we too must go through a period of development that often involves struggle. This analogy highlights a profound truth: growth does not happen overnight. God is always at work in our lives, shaping and molding us into the individuals he created us to be. Embracing the process allows us to cultivate patience and perseverance, both of which are essential components of a mature faith. Consider the story of the Israelites in the wilderness. After being liberated from slavery in Egypt, they embarked on a journey toward the promised land, a journey that took much longer than they anticipated. Along the way, they faced numerous challenges, including hunger, thirst, and fear. Despite witnessing God's miraculous provision time and time again, they struggled to trust the process. Their doubts and complaints revealed a lack of faith in God's plan. Yet, it was during this seemingly arduous journey that God was not only preparing them for the promised land, but also developing their identity as his chosen people. Their wilderness experience was essential for their spiritual growth and maturity. In our own lives, we may find ourselves in similar wilderness seasons, moments when the path ahead is unclear and the challenges seem overwhelming. In these times, it is vital to remind ourselves that God is intimately involved in our journey. He sees the bigger picture, even when we cannot. His plans for us are good, and He is working all things together for our benefit. Trusting the process means surrendering our need to control the outcome and allowing God to guide us through the intricacies of life. Trusting the process also requires a shift in perspective. Instead of viewing hardships solely as obstacles, we can see them as opportunities for growth. Each challenge we face can teach us valuable lessons about ourselves, our faith, and our relationship with God. In the midst of trials, we often discover strengths we never knew we had. We learn to rely on God's grace, and our faith is deepened. When we embrace the process, we begin to see our difficulties not as barriers, but as stepping stones leading us closer to our destiny. Moreover, trust in the process is rooted in understanding that God's timing is not our timing. We may desire immediate answers or quick resolutions to our problems, but God knows what we need and when we need it. His timing is perfect. Often, the waiting period is where the most profound transformation occurs. During these times, we are invited to grow in our relationship with Him, to seek His guidance, and to cultivate a heart of gratitude and contentment. The journey of faith is rarely linear. It is filled with ups and downs, twists and turns. However, even in the moments of uncertainty, we can hold on to the promise that God is working behind the scenes. He is constantly weaving our experiences into a beautiful tapestry that reflects His glory. The struggles we face today may be preparing us for the blessings of tomorrow. When we trust the process, we embrace the hope that our current challenges are not the end of the story, but rather a necessary part of our journey. In moments when trust is hard, it is helpful to lean on the support of others. Community is a vital aspect of the faith journey. Sharing our struggles with friends, family, or a church community allows us to receive encouragement and prayer. We can remind one another of God's faithfulness and the importance of persevering through difficult times. Together, we can stand firm in our faith, supporting each other as we navigate the challenges of life. Ultimately, trusting the process cultivates resilience. It strengthens our ability to endure trials and remain steadfast in our faith, even when circumstances seem dire. Each time we choose to trust God, we build a foundation of faith that can withstand the storms of life. This resilience not only benefits us individually, but also serves as a testimony to others. When we trust the process, even in hardship, we become beacons of hope for those around us, demonstrating that faith in God can carry us through even the darkest valleys. In conclusion, trusting the process, especially when it is hard, is an essential aspect of our spiritual journey. It requires a deep faith, a willingness to surrender control, and an understanding that growth often comes through struggle. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us remember that God is with us every step of the way. He is orchestrating our experiences for our good and His glory. So when the path seems difficult and the journey feels long, trust the process. God is faithful, and His plans for you are worth the wait. God will send help at the right time. In moments of distress, when life's challenges feel overwhelming, it is easy to feel isolated and hopeless. We might question whether we can endure the weight of our struggles, and we may wonder if help will ever arrive. Yet, amidst our uncertainties, we must hold fast to the truth that God is aware of our needs and is always present to provide support, often at precisely the right moment. God's timing is impeccable, and He knows exactly when to send help into our lives. This divine timing is rooted in His perfect wisdom and understanding of our situations. Throughout the scriptures, we see countless examples of how God intervenes at just the right time to assist His people. One of the most powerful illustrations of this is the story of the Israelites in Egypt. They endured years of oppression and suffering under Pharaoh's rule. Yet, when their cries for deliverance reached heaven, God raised up Moses as their deliverer. His intervention came at a time when hope seemed lost, demonstrating that God is always listening, always aware, and always prepared on behalf of His children. When we find ourselves in difficult circumstances, it is essential to remember that God is not distant or indifferent to our suffering. He is intimately involved in our lives, and He understands our pain. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit." In our moments of despair, God is present with us, ready to provide the help we need. This assurance should bring us comfort and peace, reminding us that we are never truly alone in our struggles. It is important to cultivate patience as we await God's help. In our fast-paced world, we often expect quick resolutions to our problems, but God's process may unfold differently than we anticipate. The waiting period can be challenging. It tests our faith and our resolve. However, it is during these times of waiting that we can grow closer to Him. As we seek His guidance and draw near to His heart, we find strength and encouragement. The very act of waiting can deepen our faith, teaching us to trust in His perfect plan and timing. Moreover, God's help may come in various forms. We often envision help as a dramatic intervention, a miraculous rescue from our troubles. However, God can send help through people's circumstances and even subtle nudges in our hearts. Sometimes a kind word from a friend, an unexpected opportunity, or a moment of clarity can be the very help we need. By remaining open to the different ways God can work in our lives, we position ourselves to receive His assistance, no matter how it manifests. Consider the story of Elijah during a time of great despair. After experiencing a powerful victory over the prophets of Baal, he found himself fleeing from Queen Jezebel's threats. Feeling defeated and alone, he cried out to God, asking for his life to be taken. Yet, in that moment of despair, God sent an angel to provide nourishment and encouragement. The angel's message was simple yet profound: get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. 1 Kings 19:7. This experience teaches us that even in our darkest moments, God sees us and knows exactly what we need to continue our journey. Additionally, God's help often requires us to take action. While we wait for His assistance, we are called to remain faithful and obedient to His guidance. This may mean seeking counsel, taking practical steps to address our challenges, or simply maintaining a posture of prayer and worship. Trusting that God will send help at the right time does not mean being passive. Rather, it involves actively engaging with our faith and remaining alert to the opportunities that God places in our path. In moments when we feel overwhelmed, we can also find solace in community. God often uses others to provide the help we need. The body of Christ is designed to support and uplift one another in times of struggle. Sharing our burdens with trusted friends or family members can open the door for God's help to flow into our lives. We are reminded of Galatians 6:2, which encourages us to bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. By allowing others to walk alongside us, we can experience God's love and support in tangible ways. Finally, we must remember that God's help is not always what we expect. Often it comes wrapped in different packages than we anticipate. What we perceive as delay may be divine preparation for something greater. Just as a sculptor chisels away at a block of stone to reveal a masterpiece, God may be working behind the scenes to shape our lives for His glory. His help may not always align with our plans, but it will always be perfect and purposeful. In conclusion, we can rest assured that God will send help at the right time. His timing is not our timing, and His ways are not our ways, but He is ever present and aware of our needs. As we navigate the complexities of life, let us hold on to the promise that God is working on our behalf, preparing us for the next chapter of our journey. In our moments of waiting, may we deepen our faith, remain open to the ways God provides, and trust that help will come when we need it most. With God as our guide, we can face our challenges with confidence, knowing that He is faithful to fulfill His promises and send help in the perfect moment. Victory is promised. In a world filled with challenges, struggles, and uncertainties, the concept of victory can sometimes feel distant or even unattainable. Yet, as people of faith, we must hold firmly to the assurance that God has promised us victory over the trials and tribulations we encounter. This promise is not merely a hopeful sentiment, it is a profound truth rooted in the character and faithfulness of our God. When we talk about victory, we must first understand what it means in the context of our spiritual journey. Victory is not simply the absence of conflict or hardship, rather, it is the ability to rise above our circumstances and emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with God's purpose for our lives. In the face of adversity, we are called to stand firm, knowing that our struggles are not in vain. God has a plan for each of us, and through every trial, He is working to bring about His divine purpose. The promise of victory is woven throughout Scripture. One of the most profound declarations of this promise is found in Romans 8:37, where we are reminded, in all these things we are more than conquerors through Him who loved us. This passage reassures us that we are not merely survivors of our battles, we are conquerors, empowered by the love of Christ. This love gives us the strength to face our challenges head on, knowing that we are never alone in our struggles. Consider the story of David and Goliath, a classic illustration of how God promises victory even in the most unlikely circumstances. David, a young shepherd boy, faced the giant Goliath, a fearsome warrior who taunted the Israelites. While the odds seemed overwhelmingly stacked against David, he approached Goliath with unwavering faith in God's power. David declared, "The battle is the Lord's," 1 Samuel 17:47, affirming that victory does not come from our strength or abilities, but from God's might. With a simple sling and a stone, David defeated Goliath, demonstrating that God's promise of victory often defies human expectations and logic. In our lives, we too may face giants that seem insurmountable, difficulties in relationships, financial struggles, health challenges, or personal doubts. However, we must remember that these giants are not greater than our God. When we trust in Him, we can step into the battle with confidence, knowing that victory is assured. God calls us to face our challenges not in fear, but with the boldness that comes from knowing we are equipped for the fight. Furthermore, victory often comes through the process of perseverance. In James 1:4, we are encouraged to consider it pure joy when we face trials of many kinds, knowing that the testing of our faith produces perseverance. This perseverance is essential for our spiritual growth. It builds character, strengthens our faith, and prepares us for the greater victories that lie ahead. Victory is not just a destination, it is a journey, and every step of that journey is significant. As we walk this path, we may encounter moments of doubt and discouragement. It is during these times that we must remind ourselves of God's faithfulness. He has a proven track record of fulfilling His promises, and He will not abandon us in our struggles. The Israelites faced daunting obstacles on their journey to the promised land, yet time and again God showed up to provide for them, guide them, and assure them of their eventual victory. We can take comfort in knowing that God's promises are unwavering and that His plans for us are for good, to give us a future and a hope, Jeremiah 29:11. Additionally, we must understand that victory is often a collective journey. We are not meant to face our battles alone. God has placed us within a community of believers to support and encourage one another. When we share our struggles and victories with one another, we create an atmosphere of faith and hope. We remind each other of God's promises and celebrate the victories, big and small, that we experience along the way. This community becomes a powerful source of strength, and together we can stand firm in the face of adversity. Another essential aspect of claiming victory is the importance of faith-filled declarations. The words we speak have power. When we declare God's promises over our lives, we align ourselves with His truth. In moments of doubt, instead of speaking defeat, we must boldly proclaim, "I am more than a conqueror," or "Victory is mine in Christ." These declarations reinforce our faith and remind us of the authority we have as children of God. Ultimately, we must recognize that the promise of victory culminates in the ultimate victory found in Jesus Christ. Through His death and resurrection, He has conquered sin and death, granting us eternal victory. Our struggles in this life are temporary, but the victory we have in Him is everlasting. When we face challenges, we can draw strength from the knowledge that Christ has already secured our victory. This truth propels us forward, encouraging us to press on in faith, regardless of the obstacles we encounter. In conclusion, victory is promised. As we navigate the challenges of life, let us hold firmly to the truth that God is with us in every battle. He has equipped us to overcome, to persevere, and to claim the victory that is rightfully ours through Christ. Let us embrace the journey, trust in His faithfulness, and declare His promises over our lives. No matter how formidable the challenges we face may seem, we can move forward with confidence, knowing that victory is not just a possibility, it is our divine inheritance. God is faithful, and He will bring us through to the other side, victorious in every sense of the word.